Novel's name, Basketball Star System. Being Curry is just the beginning. Chapter 1. Who the fuck is Curry? 2006. January 2nd. NBA 2005 to 2006 season. Houston. Toyota Center Arena. Zeng Zhen, wearing number 5 jersey, sat down on the Lakers bench seat to watch the game on the court. Zeng Zhen, a fringe player for the Lakers who signed a mid-season contract with the Lakers with no guaranteed term, will be cut after this game if the team doesn't convert his contract to a guaranteed one. Based on Zeng Zhen's past performance, the Los Angeles media and the Lakers inside and outside the staff up and down think he will pack up and leave the Lakers. But Zeng Zhen would not give up, and he was still looking for the opportunity that belonged to him to stay in the NBA. Zeng Zhen focused his attention on the pitch. Lakers and Rockets game has come to the third quarter with 6 minutes and 22 seconds when the score is 61-75. The Lakers on the road behind the Rockets as much as 14 points. This Lakers game is too dependent on Kobe. As long as Kobe's touch is down, their offense is a sharp decline, while the Rockets side, in the Big Yao as the core of the system played very smoothly, they look more overall. Big Yao is playing well today now, he has 24 points and 15 rebounds. Keep in mind that there was still half of the third quarter left at this point. Big Yao's dominance like that knocked the Sharks out of their own league. Kobe's eyes were filled with resignation as he watched the score fall behind like that. After Shark O'Neal traveled east, Kobe has sought the opportunity to win another title. But Kobe has experienced too many off-court distractions these past few seasons. Then on the team, Lakers management paired him with a lineup that was anything but ready for a championship. It also got Kobe so fired up that at one point he wanted to leave the team to hold the team hostage. Now Kobe doesn't care about personal stats anymore. He just wants to win and keep winning and winning championships. A 14-point difference between the two teams wasn't a big deal, but Big Yao's dominance in the lane made him feel a little desperate. Odom is god-awful, Bynum is brain-dead, and that punk, Smash Parker. Thinking about this puts Kirby in a bad mood. On the next turn, there was an unforeseen situation on the court. As Kobe fought to break through to the ground, he stepped on the foot of his teammate, Smush Parker, and broke his foot outright. Smash Parker showed up when he shouldn't have been on the inside and pitted Kobe. The Zen Master then called a halt to the game. Seeing this scene, Zeng Zhen's nerves tightened. Zeng Zhen is this year's draft pick. He went through 2 teams this season. Both times he was cut from a 10-day short contract. The Lakers are in his 3rd team. He does not want to live this life again. The Zen Master has the team doctor going to work on Kobe's ankle. Kobe, though he often plays with injuries, this one is obviously a bit too severe for him to make an appearance. Fark. It's all a bunch of idiots. Kobe was furious and dropped the towel. Smash Parker pressed from a distance to get close to Kobe. This injury was completely caused by him and he was going to get yelled at again for going over there. The Zen Master scanned the bench and finally rested his eyes on Zeng Zhen. The Zen Master had a pretty good impression of Zeng Zhen. Of course, not talent and ability, but motivation. And then, Zeng Zhen was also pretty good at being a good person, often sending him some gifts. For example, some Mao Tai and tea. The tea is really quite suitable for an old man like him, and he liked it as soon as he drank it. The Zen Master wouldn't be averse to giving Zeng Zhen more chances if he wasn't so incompetent. Zeng, you log on later. Zen Master finally decided to let Zeng Zhen make his entrance. Hearing the Zen Master's words, Zeng Zhen stood up with some nervousness, and some anticipation, and nodded his head. While Zeng Zhen was listening to the arrangement, a voice rang out in Zeng Zhen's head. Clang. Host presence detected. Ball King system activated. Ball King system, version 2023, as the name suggests, helps the host become a true ball king. At this moment, Zeng Zhen was startled by the sudden sound that rang in his head. What the hell? Looking around more closely, he realized that he was the only one who could hear it. Would the host like to activate? Would the host like to activate? After continuously hearing the system inquiry, Zeng Zhen quickly understood what was going on as well. What the fuck is this system? A plugin that only protagonists in web novels have? Yes, activate. Zeng Zhen knew that it would still be too difficult for his strength to play in the NBA without driving. This hanging has to be on. Based on the host's height, weight, and the position he belongs to. Randomly match the ball player for fusion. The system is brushing up on selecting ball players. Ralph Alston, Kirk Hinrich, Derek Fisher, Lewis Williams, Leandro Barbosa, Derrick Rose, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, Manu Ginobili, Jamal Murray, James Harden, J.R. Smith, Dwayne Wade, Kobe Bryant, Chris Paul. Zeng Zhen's eyes widened as the 3D models and names of each star character appeared. Alston, Small Fish Fisher, Wade, Kobe, Paul and other such league active he knows, and even the super high school students, now not yet in the NBA college players Derrick Rose he also know. But fucking hell. Who is Klay Thompson? Who is James Harden? Who is Jamal Murray? Who is Steph Curry? Are these guys awesome? If this system can be directly selected, then Zeng Zhen did not hesitate to choose his teammate Kobe. He knows how good Kobe plays. Last season Kobe Crazy averaged 35.4 points. The peak of the Dragon Slaying wore 81 points to make Kobe's fame. This season's Kobe is also the MVP favorites, averaging 32 points blasted. Fusion Kirby's words are going to fly with him. It doesn't matter if it's not the Lakers. It's a shame the Grizzlies system doesn't look like you can pick your own players to fuse. Zeng Zhen also reacted at this time to what the version 2023 displayed in front of him meant. The unheard of players in the system could be players that will appear in the next few years if they haven't appeared before. Good lord, so this is a future version of the system. While Zeng Zhen was thinking, the system also finally helped Zeng Zhen select a template. Stephen Curry. Newbie Gift Pack Giveaway Peak Experience Card. * 1 inch. Amount. Look at this strange player 3D model character with the face of a schoolboy. Zeng Zhen was dumbfounded. This system has a bit of a wide range of randomly matched player talent to strength. He doesn't know if this Stephen Curry guy is a superstar or just your average run-of-the-mill player. Was Curry's peak strong? Keep in mind that there are many classes of NBA players, and many average players' peak games are not as good as an average game played by a superstar. Zeng Zhen could only hope that his bad luck had passed, and that this Curry that the system had chosen to go to wouldn't be too bad. At the thought of missing out with Kobe, Wade and other superstars, Zeng Zhen still has some regrets. The frame of this to-be fused Curry looks similar to his, also on the thin side of the body type, which makes Zeng Zhen also a bit skeptical of whether he can survive in the NBA. Begin the fusion. As Zeng Zhen pondered, the system performed a fusion. Steph Curry's 3D image gradually breaks down and slowly blends into him. Oh! It's so fucking cozy. Zeng Zhen couldn't help but moan. The fusion process was enjoyable. Zeng Zhen could feel a lot of subtle changes in his body, but when he felt it carefully, it didn't seem to be much different. Not long after, an image of intertwining multicolored lights appeared before Zeng Zhen's eyes. Host, Zeng Zhen. Age, 19 years old. Height, 195 centimeters. Weight, 80 kilograms. Arm spread, 210 centimeters. Position, defender. Fusion star, Stephen Curry. Baller ability, super 3-point. LV1, upgradable. Full level LV3. Court Wizard LV1, upgradable. Full level LV3. Throwing Elite LV1, upgradable. Full level LV3. Logo Show. LV1, upgradable. Full level LV3. Strength Range. SSSS. Broker, Jeff Schwartz. Spouse, none. Owned card, Peak Experience Card * 1. Chapter 2, What to do when you can't resist the urge to shoot threes at half court. This system properties panel is not a comprehensive look, and there are many parts that are still hidden. Use the Peak Experience Card. Zeng Zhen did not hesitate to use his newbie pack. Zip. It does feel enjoyable. This time, on the other side of the Pacific, an online platform's NBA broadcast room saw Zeng Zhen about to make his debut. The commentator said, "If there are no surprises, the China Derby we've been waiting for is finally here, and Zeng Zhen is coming on after this timeout to see what kind of performance he'll come up with." The commentator's tone didn't have much expectation because Zeng Zhen had been so bad in the previous few matches. Zeng Zhen totaled 6 appearances this season, averaging 4 minutes of play cut down the average 0.5 points, 0.5 assists, 0.5 rebounds. Super luxury data. It was a miracle to get the Lakers' 10-day short-term contract, and no team would really want it if he was cut again this time. The commentators are not optimistic about Zeng Zhen's play. Compared to Big Yao's stable core position, Zeng Zhen could be eliminated by the NBA at any time as a fringe player, and the odds are that we'll see him in the CBA next season. The livestream pop-ups were even more full of mockery. Yo! Demon King Zeng is here. Hey! Zeng Zhen's stats look good when converted to 40 minutes per game. 5+5+5 per game. Crap. I can get those numbers even if I go up there and play 40 fucking minutes. Why do I feel a little humiliated when I see him on the field? Come back and play in the CBA. The NBA is not for you. If Zeng Zhen can play in the NBA, I can see me doing it. A garbage player with a rating of only 48 inside 2K, and then I actually think it's reasonable. The water is on. A lot of media outlets have said outright that Zeng Zhen doesn't have what it takes to play in the NBA. The words of the domestic fans were full of offense. Fans didn't start out this way, but it became this style after Zeng Zhen played a series of poorly played games. He went from star of hope to star of disappointment. At this point, Zeng Zhen did not have time to feel the feeling of the peak experience card. The timeout is over. The game continues. Beep. The Lakers' on-court lineup is Smush Parker, Zeng Zhen, Walton, Odom, Bynum. The Rockets' lineup is Alston, Maddie, Bogans, Juwan Howard, Big Yao. After stepping onto the field this time, Zeng Zhen patted his chest and a natural confidence appeared in his eyes. It was as if the basket became that billion points bigger. Laker offense. Smash Parker dribbles past half court. Smush Parker is averaging 11 points and 2.8 assists per game this season, and his nickname is Death. Death doesn't want opponents to die, it wants teammates to die. As the Lakers' starting point guard, the guy had only 2.8 assists, and Kobe repeatedly raged at him for not being worthy of being a Laker. Reaper Parker is naturally upset with Kobe, and now that Kobe is out with an injury, he seems more free on the court. Passing? With Kobe out, Parker thinks he's the Lakers' #1 point of attack. Parker was confident enough to dribble himself to the front court, launch a block with Odom and then take a sudden step to throw a mid-range frame. The basketball hit the iron and didn't. Rebounding is firmly controlled by Big Yao. Zeng Zhen looked at Big Yao's tall body was also a bit oppressive. Rockets offense. Alston dribbles the ball upfield. Organize the tandem and then give it to Maddie. Maddie gives the ball to Big Yao. The Lakers clamp down on Big Yao, who gives it back to Maddie. Maddie receives the ball high on the right side. Maddie and Big Yao are the tactical core of the Rockets. Maddie sidesteps a high 1-2 on Zeng Zhen. Bang! Maddie half-turned and sideswiped Zeng Zhen with his shoulder, then took a mid-range shot after moving across the floor in a stomp and pulling back to space the two of them. Zeng Zhen is working hard to get over to the pounce and form some sort of a distraction, though. Swish! Maddie hits a solid mid-range shot. 61-77. It's hard to block Maddie's shots under normal conditions. The Zen Master frowned at that. There's really nothing outstanding about Zeng Zhen's defensive abilities. Zeng Zhen himself was speechless on the field. He was beaten one right off the bat. Not that he didn't try hard, but the defense didn't seem to be an aspect of his fusion of Curry that he excelled at either. After the fusion of Curry, yes, it is a little stronger than he was before, but still not in the same league as the defensive stalwarts. Laker offense. Bynum doesn't give it to Smash Parker this time. He sends it to Zeng Zhen. Zeng Zhen plays a two-way guard who can also hold the ball in the eyes of his teammates. Bynum was also unhappy with the shot Smush Parker just took. Zeng Zhen dribbled across the half-court, and as soon as he crossed the half-court, he had an urge to take a shot. What the hell is this? Why does the basket look so big? As if the shot could go in. Zeng Zhen forced to hold on to the ball. He held on to the logo. Throwing it that way, the Zen Master might just replace him next turn. Maddie stepped on the three-point line in defense of Zeng Zhen. Maddie just doesn't have the attitude towards Zeng Zhen. The eyes were mesmerized, as if nothing mattered. The unknown Chinese player on the opposite side of the field really didn't give Maddie much interest in playing defense. By the time he reached the three-point line at the top of the front arc, more than a meter away, he saw that Maddie still hadn't come up. At this time Zeng Zhen finally couldn't help himself. Move across to collect the ball. A crisp, quick push and a superb three-point shot. The whole movement was smooth and fluid. It was a standard Curry-esque push shot. Superb 3 points, blinking. The people around them were looking a little confused. What the hell? The point guard takes the ball over and just throws a long three? It's enough that we have one Deadpool Parker, and now we have this stupid shit? Zeng Zhen's shot selection looked over the top to those around him, and it wasn't the kind of shot selection a professional player should have. Fark, this guy is crazy. That's a vote? That ball doesn't make sense. Can't fight like that. Lakers bench players also discussed it. Kobe off the field also felt that Zeng Zhen was a bit hopeless. This shot was just messed up and he was a bit angry. Zen Master also noticed Zeng Zhen's shot, and there was no change in his expression. Soon, amidst a chorus of astonishment, the basketball traced a super long arc. Swish. Dry drilled the frame into the net. 64-75. That's a superb three? Zeng Zhen somewhat felt the power of this ability. That's a very droll move indeed. After seeing the ball go in, Zeng Zhen's hanging heart came down and he waved his fist fiercely. Shooting three-pointers looks like an instinctive behavior for him right now. It's too much of a crime not to take a shot against this defense. Maddie was also shaking her head in bemusement. Dribbling the ball over unorganized and just shooting the ball was a crazy way to play. The crowd on the sidelines applauded as well. Nice job. Nice shot. It doesn't matter if the shot made sense or not. If it went in, it was a good shot. The three-pointer was okay. It just didn't make sense to take the shot. Hey, just make it up. Nice 3 points to break his new career record. There's still a lot of yin and yang in the pop-ups on the national network. Rockets offense. Maddie picks up the ball herself and dribbles across half court. Zeng Zhen went over to force the ball, and Big Yao came over to give Maddie an uncontested cover. Bang! Big Yao is very solid. Zeng Zhen was knocked to the ground and the referee didn't whistle. American basketball is such a hangover that it's hard to enjoy the whistle advantage if you're not a superstar. And then the pace of the game here basically prizes physicality and hates to fuck you over on the ground every round. When he first came to the United States, Zeng Zhen was not used to this kind of confrontation and penalties, but now he is also used to it. Zeng Zhen quickly got back up to his feet and returned to the defense. The point now was not to fight for the whistle but to put on a good show. After Maddie dribbled up court to Alston, who continued to dispatch the organization. The opportunity was the same as just now, with Maddie receiving the ball and backing up Zeng Zhen on the right side of the bullhorn position. Bang! Bang! Back-to-back up-body confrontations. Zeng Zhen used to be incapable, but he had a very positive attitude and he was very active in defense. Maddie didn't have as good a chance to make a shot as he just did, and he gave the ball to Alston out wide. Alston dribbled a change of direction and then took a jumper against Smush Parker. Frame. Not this time. Bynum pulled down the rebound. Instead of giving the ball to Zeng Zhen, he gave it to Smash Parker. Zeng Zhen's team is a point guard, but it really doesn't have a high status. Smush Parker continued to have to pull off a 1-2 punch after getting to the front court and making a handoff with Odom. Zeng Zhen knew that he wouldn't give the ball even if he asked for it in the past. He wasn't Kobe. Facing Alston, Smush Parker made a 3-point jumper on his own crossover step after back-to-back changes of direction. Frame. Hit the iron. This time he was a little too hasty with his strikes. He was a little too eager to show off. Bynum picked up the offensive rebound this time and gave it to Walton on the outside. Walton's three again. Frame. Still hitting the iron. You can tell that none of Walton's hand sizes are reliable. Bynum points to grab another offensive rebound, and this time, instead of controlling it, he points the ball out. The Lakers are still strong inside. It's the outside that pulls too much. Big Yao's fitness is a bit off. The Sharks are young and talented. The fans are talking about it. The Rockets head coach on the sidelines is furious that the Rockets didn't protect the defensive rebounds this round. Rebounds. The Rockets players on the court were more than a little disorganized by their head coach's yelling. Zeng Zhen controls this rebound from the right 45-degree position. He acted calmly, and after getting the ball, he smoothly made a false swing fake, and directly nudged away the pouncing Maddie. then proceeded to dribble himself a step across the floor and pull back, quickly pushing out for a three. After hitting that three just now, Zeng Zhen had a lot of confidence from the three-point line, and he also felt that his fused Curry should be a shooter. The basket looked big to him at this point, and he could have easily hit the shot. The pace is smooth and the rhythm is comfortable. The basketball made a wonderful arc. Swish. An arrow through the heart. 67-75. Is that a gift? That's so nice. Chapter 3. Full Curry teases the Rockets. Three-point double play. Zeng Zhen's three-point shot selection looked a little difficult, but it was clearly within his capabilities again. And it's as if he's used his technical moves countless times, and his opponent's defensive moves are in his anticipation. The Toyota Center crowd applauded as well, and there were a lot of Chinese fans here. Those 2 3-points by Zeng Zhen were inspiring. Dude, nice throw. Keep doing that. Odom also high-fived Zeng Zhen in celebration. Zeng Zhen's performance made Odom feel a bit surprised. It wasn't just Odom who was surprised, it was most of the crowd, who still felt that both of Zeng Zhen's goals should have been lucky, the kind where the hand explodes. And the Zen Master's attention was focused a little longer around Zeng Zhen. The Zen Master knew Zeng Zhen very well, and he was able to tell that Zeng Zhen was a little bit different from before, and that he had become stronger. A keen sense for open opportunities, taking shots at the slightest opportunity, as well as the ability to capitalize on open three-pointers, and control over his own pace. These are not the same abilities that have been shown before. Very clever withdrawal. Zen Master Jackson muttered. The difficulty of Zeng Zhen's shot is really not low. He needs to judge the timing of Matty's shot, and then use his own skills to make adjustments to his body, and most importantly, he can still throw the ball in. Being able to score after a flurry of fancy play is the key. Although complimented Zeng Zhen a sentence, Zen Master Jackson still did not put Zeng Zhen in a very high position, but only on the position that can continue to observe. After all, if you watch the highlights, everyone is Jordan. The NBA can make 2 3-pointers in a row is too much. Zeng Zhen is still not amazing enough. Into the fairy ball is not the ability. Can step into every open shot. Use their own every technical action. Help the team run more comfortable. This is what the Lakers need. For the next few rounds, though, Zeng Zhen didn't even have a chance for individual offense. But the confidence of Zeng Zhen on the field has come out completely. Before he played the game, Zeng Zhen didn't know what level Pete Curry's ability was at. In just a few rounds, he could feel the gap between his original self and him. Now he views the Rockets' defense as all full of holes. It's as if he can get past whoever he wants to as long as he has the ball in his hands and shoot threes when he wants to. Even the running and passing of his teammates, he just looks a little poor. He's also running up a ton of openings and seeing baskets in his eyes that are much bigger than they used to be. Is this what it's like to have a basket like an ocean? The gap wasn't just in rhythm, but also in awareness that he felt he could put the ball in the basket if he had it in his hands. Is this the NBA through the eyes of a genius? This guy's a bit of a git. Zeng Zhen felt Curry's bullishness. Talent cannot just mean physical condition. After going through 4 overs out without the ball coming back, Zeng Zhen didn't give the ball out even after dribbling to the front court himself. Zeng Zhen made a block. Bynum came out to pick up and block Matty. Zeng Zhen misplaced his attack on Big Yao. This is the first matchup of the night in the China Derby. Hey Zhen, come on, I'm not going to let go. Big Yao said. Then he lowered his center of gravity and stared at Zeng Zhen with open hands. Big Yao is very proper in his defensive attitude. I'll pass you off like you're crossing the street. Zeng Zhen returned. Come and try. Big Yao returned. Players from both teams around the perimeter pulled away to form a 1-2 punch. In the commercial league, this derby talk is important, and for the most part, both teams give each other a bit of a run for their money against each other. Bang! Bang! Zeng Zhen easily misplaced Big Yao's rhythm with only 2 changes of direction, followed by an explosion to pass him from Big Yao's right side. Big Yao turned to chase back, and Zeng Zhen fully judged his defensive move. Obediently and then a stomp back to the 3-point line, completely pulling away from the 2 space. Big Yao directly cannot come back. Zeng Zhen's dribbling is as spontaneous as a court elf. It's hard to get Big Yao to defend the current Zeng Zhen. There was a wide open spot for Zeng Zhen. There was no hesitation. A hand up and a push for three. The basketball made a wonderful arc. Swish. 70-75. Hoo-hoo. OMG. My God, this guy is so showy. Good job hitting Big Yao for one. Ha, that's a fine shot by Zeng Zhen. He's made 3 3-pointers in a row. The crowd around them all started cheering for Zeng Zhen as well. If 1 or 2 goals is luck, 3 goals seems to have something to do with strength. The Zen Master has been watching Zeng Zhen since his last 3-pointer, and Zeng Zhen has really been playing well all this time. There were several rounds where Zeng Zhen ran open and just some of the Lakers players were too lone. Then Zen Master Jackson saw Zeng Zhen's spirituality in this round. Holding the ball and dribbling single-play mismatched center is very easy, even if not shooting 3-point. Zeng Zhen can also burst in to mobilize the opponent's defense. The Zen Master has a poisonous look in his eye, and he feels that Zeng Zhen will be more valuable than Smash Parker if he keeps playing so consistently. At this time, the domestic broadcasting room also went crazy. The commentator shouted, "Zeng Zhen formed a mismatch with Big Yao. Good job." Zeng Zhen shook Big Yao out of the way and stepped back for a 3-point play for another 3-point triple. Another commentator said, Zeng Zhen took 3 shots after his debut and hit all of them, cutting down 9 points, which is very crucial for the Lakers. Kobe Bryant's injury put them in trouble for a while, but now, this trouble is solved by Zeng Zhen. The pop-ups went crazy too. Crap. Bull. Beat Big Yao by 1. Awesome. It shouldn't be luck anymore. The guy's got a bit of a grippy 3-point shot. It's a bit of a surprise. I never thought it could be so awesome. Ha. For those who play like that, the contract is going to turn around. Fans at home look surprised. At this point on the field, Rockets head coach Jeff Van Gundy also called for a timeout. Zeng Zhen's sudden burst of 3-pointers dealt a very heavy blow to the Rockets. Jeff Van Gundy told Bogans, "Keith, you're in charge of taking care of Yao's hometown. That guy is too accurate from the outside to let him shoot." Bogans is the Rockets' point guard swingman who excels on defense. Bogans patted his chest. "No problem. Leave him to me." Bogans is pretty sure he can handle Zeng Zhen as a rookie. Jeff Van Gundy then smiled at Big Yao and said, "Yao, you should have told me that guy was so accurate with his threes." Yao revealed an awkward smile and said awkwardly, "I don't know." Big Yao is very real. He really does not know. In his impression, Zeng Zhen's ability is not so strong. Now this guy is strong to the point of being a bit of a pervert. The other side. The Lakers players were all high-fiving Zeng Zhen, too. Odom said, "Man, your threes are good. Keep shooting like that." Vujasic said, "Come on, you can do it." Vujasic has a good relationship with Zeng Zhen, and he would like to see Zeng Zhen stay with the team. Kobe is still resting in a towel, apparently in a bit of pain from the ankle injury. The Zen Master also encouraged, "Zeng, playing well. Keep playing like that. Keep your self-confidence." Zeng Zhen nodded his head. Getting affirmation from his teammates and coach was important to him now. Zen Master's next play call also put Zeng Zhen at point guard, and then he took Smushpak off the court and replaced him with Vujasic. This arrangement made Zeng Zhen even more excited. Smushpak is in the way too much. He needs to have more of the ball. Chapter 4. Indecent opening, then shocking everyone. The pause was soon over. Rockets offense. Alston dispatched the ball to the front court after it went to Big Yao down low in the lane. Big Yao singles out Little Shark. Shark's Bynum 2 meters 13 tall. Weight 129 kilograms. This season averaged 8 points and 6 rebounds. In the limited playing time can cut this kind of data. The efficiency is considered good. It's just that he's still showing too much tenderness against Big Yao. Big Yao easily turns around with a confrontation and another small hook near the baseline. Swish. Steady scoring. 70-77. Big Yao's little hook helped stabilize the Rockets and the home fans were all up in arms. The offense switched to the Lakers. Zeng Zhen dribbled the ball forward. Bogan stayed close to Zeng Zhen and didn't give him any chance. At 196, Bogans is an excellent defender who is often set up to freeze the opponent's arrowhead. Many players will lose their shooting rhythm under the intense physicality of Bogan's urgency. Zeng Zhen is very skillful at dribbling the ball. Bogans doesn't put much pressure on the counter. Zeng Zhen jumped like a court elf, swaying left and right, dribbling the ball. After finding an opening in the bobble, he accelerated right through Bogan's close defense to reach the front without incident. Zeng Zhen had just dropped his tempo down when Bogans quickly stuck around again. Bogans shouted at Zeng Zhen, "Rookie, don't try to get rid of me easily." Zeng Zhen ignored Bogan's trash talk and thought about how to come on offense. Now that the ball is in his hands, Zeng Zhen's first thought is not to pass the ball, but how to continue to show his ability. If he doesn't take the chance, he won't get a chance to perform next time. Zeng Zhen greeted Bynum as he came out to cover. Bynum comes out to block Bogans. In that moment, Zeng Zhen dribbled across the floor and took a decisive step beyond the three-point line to collect the ball. Emergency stop. Jump up. Quickly come back with another push shot. The whole movement is as smooth as flowing water. Zeng Zhen looks a bit too far away from this strike and his shot looks a bit forced. Bogans doesn't have the cover though. The basketball arced beautifully again. Swish. An arrow through the heart. 73-77. It's still going in? Kobe off the court was a little surprised. That's kind of a crazy way to play. Zeng Zhen hit his fourth three-pointer of the night. Is this what Pete Curry feels like? It's really cool. After hitting this three-point shot, Zeng Zhen waved three fingers and shook his shoulders and shook his head back on defense. That kind of celebration is almost instinctive. Zeng Zhen's celebration was so arrogant that he watched the Rockets players' teeth itch. Zeng Zhen felt that the basket was as big as the ocean. That's what Steph Curry can do from three-point range. He really felt it. The Chinese fans at the Toyota Center Arena were once again in an uproar. At one point they thought that Zeng Zhen wouldn't even make an appearance, but it turned out that Zeng Zhen showed a superb individual ability as soon as he made his appearance. This performance is shocking. The Zen Master on the sidelines still had no expression on his face, as the outside world had nicknamed him. But from the direction in which the Zen Master's eyes were gathered, the outside world could tell that waves had also been created within the Zen Master. Bogans, who was on the field, raised his hand with his teammates to signal that the goal was his problem. Yao, switch defenses faster too. Instead of putting the blame on Bogans, Van Gundy thought Big Yao should have switched out on defense. Yes. Big Yao nodded. It's true that there's a little bit of nothing you can do against a ball like Zeng Zhen's. It's so counterintuitive. Players on the Lakers bench were on their feet watching the game at this point. Zeng Zhen showed some unexpected bravery on the field. The pressure is on the Rockets to play like this. Rockets offense. Big Yao continues to catch the ball inside. Big Yao continued to beat Bynum in the low post, a shot that Vujasic went and interfered with as Big Yao collected the ball. Big Yao's rhythm is broken and his turnaround hook misses. The rebound was taken with a leap by Odom. Instead of dribbling the ball himself, Odom waited for Zeng Zhen to come over and receive the ball. There's an unwritten rule in the NBA that you have to give the ball all the time when your teammate has a good hand. Zeng Zhen received the ball and dribbled himself to the front court. This time there was almost no need for Zeng Zhen to make a play. Everyone knew he was going to single. Zeng Zhen continues to ask Bynum to cover. Bynum lifted up to block Bogans, then downshifted to take Bogans away, leaving Big Yao to face Zeng Zhen. Chinese fans are once again excited as the Chinese players are matched up again. Big Yao was very careful with his defense this time, knowing that Zeng Zhen's three-point shot is strong now, and lifted up a bit. Bang! Bang! Zeng Zhen continued to face Big Yao's consecutive low-handed change of direction dribble now. Rhythm shift. Big Yao couldn't keep up at all. The Chinese fans kept cheering as Zeng Zhen's dribbling looked sprightly. Hovering on the right side, Big Yao's center of gravity is mobilized. Bang! Zeng Zhen then quickly behind the back and slapped the ball to the left side, followed by a dive and explode. Big Yao is too slow. Zeng Zhen accelerates and puts Big Yao clean through. Zeng Zhen came into position in the paint and he traveled to meet Juwan Howard for a lob. Juwan Howard fights out of it. Bang! Zeng Zhen was knocked down by Juwan Howard. Beep! Swish! 75-77. The ball is whistled in. Zeng Zhen scores with a 2+1. Ah! Zeng Zhen growled as he lay on the ground with his hands clenched into fists. Zeng Zhen vented his depression from the previous few matches. Clack clack clack. The upper camera captured the scene in a freeze frame. Bynum joined Odom in pulling Zeng Zhen up. Crap. Bull. This rookie is so strong. Zeng Zhen is playing crazy. Zeng Zhen has taken over the game. Score chasing isn't scary. It's embarrassing to be missing anyone. And the nag says the whole team is playing him. Too showy. Hurry up and turn this guy around. Domestic fans also started calling for Zeng Zhen on the pop-ups. The highlights of this period of time have fans watching with a sense of excitement. Step up to the free throw line. Zeng Zhen took a deep breath. Zeng Zhen looked to the basket feeling very big. If he threw it with his hand, the ball would go in. Free throws written out. Swish. 76-77. The Lakers pushed the lead back to 1 point behind 15, straight points from Zeng Zhen. Kobe was also speechless watching from the sidelines, and he was never sure if this was a fortuitous outburst or a reflection of Zeng Zhen's true strength. If it's real strength, then how come this guy wasn't this strong before? It's too much of a vegetable for training. But an outburst like that would be amazing if it was just an accidental outburst. Clack clack clack. Zeng Zhen's successive scoring runs kept the cameras chasing him. Bogan's expression was also very solemn. He didn't dare to say that he could easily defend against Zeng Zhen now. This rookie's attack is so sick. How come I've never heard of this character before? Chapter 5 Complete Shocker. A rookie rules the game tonight. Lakers side. Driven by Zeng Zhen. The two teams are getting closer and closer to each other, and the Lakers are getting more and more aggressive on defense. The intensity of the Lakers' defense has increased. Bynum is starting to get around the defense, and Alston tries to give the ball to Big Yao, but it doesn't work. Big Yao couldn't catch the ball in the lane for several consecutive attempts. Alston to Matty. Matty held the ball test step. After observing the Lakers' defense, he faced the defensive Vujasic a change of direction breakthrough. Accelerated past the right side of the pass. Matty encountered Odom to assist the defense. With the Lakers players willing to play defense, they are very good at it. It should have been a pass, but Matty didn't find a teammate with a better chance and chose to take on Odom's defense in the high post himself for a dry run. This is not a good opportunity. Frame. Once again, the basketball hit the rim hard. Bynum held off Big Yao's hustle for offensive rebounds. You can clearly see that Big Yao's reaction is slower and his fitness is slipping more. Bynum continued the ball to Zeng Zhen. Zeng Zhen received the ball directly and quickly advanced to the front court to play counterattack. In Zeng Zhen's defense is Alston. But Zeng Zhen faced Alston to a difficult back dribble change of direction before exploding to the left side. A step over the defense. It was as if the basketball had become a part of Zeng Zhen's body. Once again, Zeng Zhen burst in with ease. McD is staying tight on Zeng Zhen, but he can't catch up. Traveling at a high rate of speed, Zeng Zhen went to the basket against Bogans before coming up with a high hit. The basketball falls into the basket after rebounding off the rim. 78-77. The ball is so difficult and all the interference given by the opponents is very high. But everyone saw the softness of Zeng Zhen's hands. Zeng Zhen's madness continues as he's scored 17 points in a row now. The fans at the Toyota Center couldn't help but gasp. This rookie looks horrible. Beautiful. Great shot. Bully. 17 points in a row. I take back the disrespectful things I said about this rookie earlier. I watched the game on my knees. Super explosive scoring. This guy is not weak. Zeng Zhen definitely has a chance to get a guaranteed contract in the NBA. Fans at home were very shocked to see this scene. Zeng Zhen's current style of play is not the kind of play that didn't have any presence before, but a super strong supergiant play. At this point, Zeng Zhen looked just like Pete Kobe. Scoring was as easy as a bag of tricks. Fans seemed to see what it would look like when Zeng Zhen teamed up with Big Yao on the national team. The camera went to the Zen Master at this point. The Zen Master, who had been as immovable as a mountain, couldn't help but give Zeng Zhen a thumbs up too. Obviously, everyone knows that the Zen Master has recognized Zeng Zhen, and this match will most likely earn Zeng Zhen a brand new contract. The clock quickly came to the last 30 seconds of the third quarter as well. Alston dribbled to the front court to press the clock before continuing to Maddie. Maddie continued the dry spell on the right side against Vujasic's defense with 12 seconds left on the offensive clock. It looked like McD was taking a bit of a gamble, trying to respond to Zeng Zhen's wild offense. But the arc of the basketball is very flat. It was Maddie's usual style. The ball is also slightly less powerful. Frame. Maddie's three-point touch really wasn't that great, and the basketball hit the front basket hard. Odom pulled down the rebound. Odom takes a look at Zeng Zhen and realizes that Bogans is posting up, so Odom opts to take the ball across half-court himself. As soon as Odom crossed half-court, Zeng Zhen then gave Bogans a confrontation, and after bouncing back and pulling away from Bogans he quickly ran over to Odom and asked him for the ball. Odom left on his own after giving the ball to Zeng Zhen at the logo spot. Bogans doesn't come to post up Zeng Zhen anymore either, stepping in at the three-point line to come up on defense. Zeng Zhen is still a long way from the three-point line, and under normal circumstances, this kind of ball is impossible to shoot. That's not just what Bogans thinks, it's what everyone thinks. Bang! 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 Zeng Zhen was controlling the time as the minutes ticked by. Bogans was getting a little anxious. He wasn't sure what kind of choice Zeng Zhen would make. Bogans is ready to launch. But just a moment before he started, Zeng Zhen shoots in with a straight right on logo. OMG! What's he going to do? Zeng Zhen is playing crazy. As soon as I quip, I start to drift. It's hopeless. The fans in the audience who saw this scene were shocked to the core. Mind you, no one is going to make that kind of shot selection right now. There was plenty of time left for the Lakers' offense, and Zeng Zhen had all the time in the world to choose another offense. This distance is really too far. Only the fans' shock wasn't over yet. Zeng Zhen after the shot felt that the ball should have been there. He chose to turn around straight away. Shake your shoulders and celebrate. The basketball was behind him, making a wonderful rainbow. Swish. 81-77. Through the heart into the net. Logo show. Zeng Zhen now completely understood what Steph Curry was capable of. Three-point shooting isn't just described as hanging. It's superb. At this time, the Toyota Center Arena were all shocked by Zeng Zhen's tawdry operation. God, I see something. This guy aims to shoot center circle three-pointers. Celebrating early. He knew it would go in. He's so arrogant. Why do I want to punch him so badly? Wanted to hit him so bad, but there really wasn't a thing I could do about him. So pretentious, but I like it. The Rockets fans in the arena also sucked in their breath. The visual impact of this center circle three-pointer is horrible, and then there's that pretentious celebration. Kobe couldn't help but applaud and celebrate off the field. There were no half-court threes for the Rockets at this point in the game, and the third quarter ended. Zeng Zhen scored 20 points in the third quarter, leading the Lakers, who were down by up to 15 points, to complete the comeback straight away. Pop! Pop! Dude, that's so cool of you. Good for you. As Zeng Zhen rushed to the bench, the crowd struck him on various parts of his body. Zeng Zhen bagged all of the Lakers' points in the second half of the third quarter, putting his individual offensive prowess on display. The logo three-pointer in particular mobilized all the Lakers' hormones to the max. The big screen also kept showing Zeng Zhen's highlights of the period. Zeng Zhen's performance made waves in this ordinary match. No one would have guessed that with Kobe injured and the Lakers down by double digits, it was a player on an unfixed guaranteed contract who stepped up to save the team. CCTV Studio. Zhang Weiping also said excitedly, half a quarter time, Zeng Zhen got 20 points. He perfectly showed his own value for the Lakers. I think Zen Master also all see in the eyes. We'll give him more opportunities afterward. Su Jiqing said. This is the China Derby. It's not just a stage for Big Yao alone. Zeng Zhen came to perform too. Chapter 6 Andrew. Have you ever seen Los Angeles at 2 a.m.? Zeng Zhen, who had returned to the bench, was also excited, and he could not have imagined that he would be so powerful now. He was in excellent shape and felt he was able to capitalize on every shot that came his way. It's an experience that hasn't even been tried before. Is this peak Steph Curry? This guy is a little too cocky for that. The Zen Master on the sidelines of the overall for Zeng Zhen this period of time to play is also some surprise. Kobe's injury to the Lakers' outside attack immediately affected. Zeng Zhen's play made the Lakers' outside firepower look even more exaggerated. Zeng, how did you become so strong? Bynum came over and sized up Zeng Zhen. Bynum doesn't look too mature. He does things and talks like a child, and likes adventures and novelties. But in general, he's not a bad guy, and he has a lot to talk about with Zeng Zhen, who's about the same age. I received the inheritance of future technology just now, Zeng Zhen said fervently. Bynum looked at Zeng Zhen with a look of I treat you as a brother. You treat me as a fool and despised. I don't believe in such lies. Do you often secretly add training, and then just wait for this time to shock us all? Bynum has his own interpretation, and he thinks Zeng Zhen looks like the type of player who works hard. Zeng Zhen spread his hands. No one would believe him even if he told the truth. This reality is like this. Zeng Zhen had to say meaningfully, dude, have you ever seen Los Angeles at 2 a.m.? The 4 a.m. stunt was used. What about 2 a.m.? After hearing this, Bynum revealed a mouthful of white teeth and said, hey, you want to pretend like Kobe? Want to say that at 2 o'clock in the morning you are still training? Let me tell you, I really haven't seen Los Angeles at 4 a.m. But I've really seen it at 2 a.m. yesterday when I came back from the club. It was 2 a.m. Don't look at it as summer, but Los Angeles is still cool at night. Bynum gabbed on Zeng Zhen's shoulder. Zeng Zhen was speechless. Still on the wave at 2 a.m. Bynum said, well, I have to admit now that I underestimated you before. Bynum was about to say something else when the Zen Master directly interrupted him, and the Zen Master said at Zeng Zhen, Zeng, good job. Zeng Zhen smiled and said, it's the coach's good tactical arrangement. Hypocrisy. Bynum looked down at Zeng Zhen with contempt. The Zen Master just scheduled a gripper play. This old bastard would arrange for you to logo a three-point shot? Zen Master Zeng Zhen's attitude is very satisfied, nodded and said, later in the fourth quarter you continue to play on the field. Everyone pay attention. Later on the players on the field are as much as possible to Zeng to create space. Okay. Good. Even if the Zen Master does not emphasize, in the field of the Lakers players will take the initiative to help Zeng Zhen create opportunities, because Zeng Zhen has proved his ability to score on the field. In response to the Zen Master's tactic, Bynum nudged his mouth and said, you guys can also make more passes into the lane when you get the chance. Bynum, a rookie, is usually fed to him to hit, and he's still a little uncomfortable with the idea of hitting for Zeng Zhen now. Zeng Zhen patted Bynum on the shoulder and said, will do. Give it to you when you get the chance. In fact, it's true that hitting for the current Bynum would be better than hitting for Zeng Zhen. The Rockets' backup lineman is Mutombo. Although Uncle Mu is close to retirement, but his ability to protect the rim and the interior is still there. Small sharks are not really sharks. Against him is still very suffocating. In the opening 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, Bynum took back-to-back hot pot shots as Uncle Mu wagged his finger vigorously. Bynum is incredibly suffocating on the inside. Couldn't get it going inside, but the Lakers were open on the outside. Zeng Zhen's craziness was a bit worse compared to the third period, but it was still pretty bright. Zeng Zhen didn't care if he got his contract signed or not. He just enjoyed the game on the field. It's a feeling of recklessness on the field. It seemed that with a very easy wiggle, he could create space and take a shot to hit. This hangout is really too good. The Rockets' comeback didn't do much good. 6:22. Zeng Zhen in the outside to a very large change of direction will Matty over. In the high decisive shot from mid-range. The basketball are also a wonderful arc. Swish. It just seemed so easy for Zeng Zhen's offense. The Rockets kept adjusting their defense to target Zeng Zhen, but none of it had much effect. There are individual players who can defend Zeng Zhen, but Zeng Zhen's offense is not just about playing with the ball. He can also constantly run without the ball. Bogan's was then brought up to speed by Zeng Zhen. It's not that Bogan's stamina is bad, but Bogan's doesn't know Zeng Zhen well, and his rhythm is all very unfamiliar to him. Zeng Zhen's ability to shoot keeps him tightly wound up, and then occasionally when Zeng Zhen needs to make a sharp stop and start, he follows the sharp stop and start, and this kind of exertion is too much. At 4:44, Zeng Zhen formed a one-on-one with Maddie at the 45-degree position on the right side. Bynum had wanted to come up and cover, but was waved off by Zeng Zhen. The Rockets players didn't come up to pin Zeng Zhen either, and it would have been disrespectful to Maddie to do so. McD has now put away his contempt for Zeng Zhen, and he opens his hands and maintains his center of gravity, looking to drop the round with all his might. Bang! Bang! Zeng Zhen releases the ball and changes direction continuously. Zeng Zhen's dribbling is very fast-paced, and his amplitude is agile with the rhythm. A quick burst to the left, followed by a quick pull to the right to accelerate right past Maddie. The Chinese fans at the Toyota Center Arena were excited to see this scene. Maddie turned back to chase. Zeng Zhen did not go to the inside, but a step back, even stomping, completely pulled with Maddie's distance to the three-point line. Maddie is too far away from Zeng Zhen to complete the cover. Zeng Zhen's three-point push shot went wide. The basketball made a wonderful arc. Swish! An arrow through the heart. Zeng Zhen half spit out his braces and turned around, shaking his shoulders in celebration. The Chinese fans at the Toyota Center Arena cheered again. The cameras on the set also kept focusing on Zeng Zhen, pulling in and out. At this moment, Zeng Zhen is the main character on the court in general. After this goal, Zeng Zhen wanted to keep fighting, but the only person who could stop Zeng Zhen was the Zen Master. The Zen Master replaced Zeng Zhen when the difference between the two teams got to over 15 points. Fark, this guy finally went down. It was horrible. There was no stopping his shot. The Rockets' defense is terrible, isn't it? It's not that their defense is terrible. It's that guy's offense is terrible. I heard this guy is just a short contract worker, so I wonder if there's any chance he'll be signed by us. Dream on. The Lakers won't let him go now. This guy scored 30 points in just over a quarter. Chapter 7. Detailed personal attributes. Contractual offer. Fans watching the game at home were completely orgasmic. Zeng Zhen proved with this stretch of play that he can have a place on the Lakers. Originally, they had mainly come to see Big Yao, but it turned out to be a surprise to find Zeng Zhen. China looks to be on the verge of producing a guard who can get a foothold in the NBA. Zeng Zhen high-fived every single one of his teammates after walking back to the bench. It looks like the Zen Master won't let himself make an appearance, and Zeng Zhen also heard the system's prompt. Clang. Completing debut. Activating all attribute panels. Dang. Mission issued. Please get a contract with an NBA team. Do you accept the challenge? Quest reward. Grade D attribute card, +1 attribute up to 70 points. This task was not difficult for the current Zeng Zhen, so he chose accept without hesitation. Zeng Zhen was still curious about the full attribute panel. Host. Zeng Zhen. Age. 19 years old. Height. 195 centimeters. Weight. 80 kilograms. Arm spread. 210 centimeters. Position. Defender. Fusion star. Stephen Curry. Baller ability. Super 3-point. LV1, upgradable. Full level LV3. Court Wizard LV1, upgradable. Full level LV3. Throwing Elite LV1, upgradable. Full level LV3. Logo Show. LV1, upgradable. Full level LV3. Strength Range. SSSS. Broker. Jeff Schwartz. Spouse. None. Owned cards. None. Persons. Speed. 89. Strength. 48. Backs. 31. Closer. 88. Layups. 94. CIC. 94. Long throw. 94. Running position. 96. Emergency stops. 88. Steals. 72. Rebounds. 44. Flexible. 96. Bounce. 72. Dunks. 60. Passing. 84. Ball control. 96. Seals. 42. Foul making. 82. Fitness. 97. Overall offensive rating. S, up to SSS in an outburst. Overall rating of defense. C. The basic information was the same as the previous one. and after looking at the detailed panels in the back, Zeng Zhen had a clearer understanding of Curry's abilities. It's about as close as you can get to experiencing it on the field. Long-range shooting is sharpshooter level, then great ball handling, great ability to run the floor without the ball, and slightly worse defense. It's just that the physical ability is so perverted, and this is something that slightly surprises Zeng Zhen. The game was over quickly, and there wasn't much to see on the court, as both Big Yao and Zeng Zhen went off the court. The final score was 112-102, a 10-point loss for the Rockets at home. It's been great to see the Lakers play like this with Kobe's injury. Zeng Zhen's overachievement was the key to the Lakers being able to turn the score around in the second half. 30 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists and 1 steal. This is Zeng Zhen. This game played the data. I believe that all of this Lakers general manager Kupchak also saw in the eyes, which also makes Zeng Zhen's stay in the Lakers' hope greatly increased. Zeng Zhen has refreshed the outside world's perception of him in one match. Zeng Zhen had a 20+ in a quarter in the third quarter, which is the first time a rookie has been able to do that this season. Zhang Weiping droned on in the CCTV studio to summarize. At this point in time, Schwartz's cell phone, who had just finished dinner at home, rang. Schwartz saw the familiar number on his cell phone screen. Lakers general manager Mitch Kupchak. Schwartz didn't know what the call was for. He hadn't interacted with Kupchak much. Schwartz picked up the phone and said, "Mitch, hello, what can I do for you?" "Jeff, it seems like you don't realize what your players did in tonight's game," Kupchak said. Schwartz sat down and thought about it after taking a sip of water. He really didn't know what Kupchak was talking about yet. He doesn't have a lot of players under his belt, but it's impossible to watch every one of their games. But he only has one player on the Lakers. As a professional agent, Schwartz quickly took out his other cell phone and searched for Zeng Zhen's name. He went straight to the headline of Zeng Zhen's 30+ news headline. Schwartz saw the headline a little confused, but he quickly calmed down and said, "Ha, of course I'm aware of it. Zeng's performance tonight can be right. I've always been confident in him. The guy is not lucky to get 30+. He has a chance to be an all-star player. I don't know how Zeng Zhen played so well, but Schwartz decided to go ahead and blow his load." Kupchak on the other end of the phone didn't realize that Schwartz had just checked the news. He assumed Schwartz had watched the game, too. Kupchak said, "Okay, I have to say, he gave me a big surprise. After all, an hour and a half ago, I decided to cut him, and now well, I decided to sign him and give him a guaranteed contract, and he's the player we need. Man, make an offer and see how much you can sign him for now. Of course, don't Leonize it. You know, Lakers' payroll space is very tight too." Kupchak was straightforward. Schwartz's mind was spinning fast as he listened to the call while constantly looking at the messages on his other cell phone. In addition to seeing news of Zeng Zhen's 30+ explosion, Schwartz also saw news of Kobe's injury. But just at this tense moment, Schwartz's cell phone, which was watching the news, was also interrupted by an incoming call ringing. "Daryl Murray?" Schwartz didn't rush to answer it, but told Kupchak, "Sorry, Mitch, Daryl called me too, and it wasn't a negotiating trick, and I think you know he's supposed to be here to talk to me about the hat signing as well." Kupchak did hear the cell phone ringing on his end as well, and he didn't think Schwartz would use a competitor to drive up the price, because the ringing was so sudden that Kupchak said, "Are you going to let him go to the Rockets as a backup? Man, you know very well Daryl's stingy pissant ways. Do you want to deal with him for a long time? Murray is so stingy that he's known in agent circles." Schwartz said, "That's right, I don't want to deal with him, but I'll get my client the best contract I can, and if you sign Zeng, then will you give him the starting job with the Lakers?" Kupchak said, "The first thing that needs to be said is that it's not up to me to decide whether or not I get to start. That's Phil's job. And then, having had just one good game, his performance is still unconvincing, and I can suggest to Phil that he be given a little bit more playing time over the next couple of games to show up, and that it's up to him to conquer whether or not he gets to start or not." "Philosophy," Schwartz said. "Can you tell me definitively how many games? Is a little more playing time a few minutes per game? And also, what's the maximum contract you can offer?" Schwartz's talking skills are smart enough that he won't readily reveal that Zeng Zhen originally only wanted a guaranteed contract. Now that Zeng Zhen is doing well, he's got his back up. Kupchak said, I hate dealing with you agents. You always want something very clear. I was able to suggest that Phil give him at least 2 games, 20+ minutes in each game to see if there's a chance to start. And as for the contract, it's $3 million, with $1.5 million fully guaranteed in the first year and a team option for the second year. Schwartz said, Number 1. At least 3 games, 25 minutes of playing time per game. And number 2. The amount of the contract I need to discuss with Sang and get back to you later with a message. Kupchak said, Okay, the number of games and the time I can promise you right now, and as far as the amount of money and all that, I look forward to your call. After briefly communicating with Kupchak, Schwartz's head spun quickly. Schwartz went on to make several calls to Zeng Zhen, who didn't answer. Schwartz figured Zeng Zhen would be in the shower or at a conference or something. Schwartz quickly dialed Murray's number. No surprise that Murray's side also wants Zeng Zhen to go to the Rockets. Murray offered a 2-year, $4 million raise, with $1 million guaranteed in the first year and a team option for the second year, although there is a 3, guaranteeing one of the bench minutes in the short term. Zeng Zhen walked straight back to the locker room after the fight. After returning to the locker room, Zeng Zhen passed by his teammates who took the initiative to give him a high five. Zeng Zhen was so good tonight that this qualifies him to be a part of the Lakers' long-term lineup. Zeng Zhen's scoring explosiveness and shooting ability is exactly what the Lakers need right now. With Kobe's injury, having an extra Zeng Zhen as such a ready starter can only be good for the Lakers down the stretch. On the other side, Big Yao was still being interviewed by the courtside media. CCTV reporters failed to stop Zeng Zhen. They just greeted Big Yao in advance. The reporter asked, Big Yao, how do you evaluate Zhen's performance tonight? Big Yao said, Zhen played great. He has a strong outside shot and he has a great mismatch offense. All of these impressed me. Big Yao had a 32-point, 18-rebound, 5-block night, but he was woefully outplayed against Zeng Zhen for several possessions. Wretched as he is, Big Yao will also commercially tout Zeng Zhen. The reporter asked, do you think he'll be able to stay in the NBA and occupy a proper role? Yao nodded. Of course, he has that kind of strength. Big Yao is also a bit puzzled. On the field can obviously feel so strong players will be repeatedly cut before. That ability to misdirect 1-2 against big men. That 3-point shot off the dribble. It's even better than a lot of all-star guards, both in terms of pace and use of their own skills. This performance by Zeng Zhen doesn't look like a short-term outburst. Chapter 8, Zhao Shuai and Zhao Na. Post-game press conference. A reporter asked Kobe about his comments on Zeng Zhen's performance. Said Kobe, had been a very hard-working player and he played well tonight. Because of his injury, Kobe was in a general mood and he didn't express much emotion. The reporter asked, do you think he has what it takes to stay with the Lakers? Without thinking, Kobe said, of course. Zeng Zhen worked hard enough and then proved tonight that his hard work pays off. A guy like that looks a little more reliable than Smash Parker. After answering these 2 questions about Zeng Zhen, Kobe left the conference site with a cold face. He's going to physical therapy. All Kobe wants to do now is recover from his injury as quickly as possible so he can return to the court as soon as possible. A reporter asked the Zen Master about Zeng Zhen's contract, and the Zen Master said, that's Mitch's job, and I certainly welcome Zeng to stay with the team, but it's not entirely my decision. Zen Masters don't show all their attitudes to the media. Zeng Zhen put on his backpack, got on the team bus, and put on his big headphones after finding his own exclusive seat. Zeng Zhen had already checked the message from his agent Schwartz, and he knew that he had received an offer from both the Lakers and the Rockets. Lakers' offer is normal, but the Rockets suddenly also came to offer. Zeng Zhen is a little less understanding. Is it not considered an operational violation to negotiate with a player under contract? Zeng Zhen replied to Schwartz. Sure, but that guy Murray doesn't care about that rule. Schwartz returned. What the hell? One fight and you're tapped out? Zeng Zhen was certainly happy to be recognized by others. But Zeng Zhen pressed on to Houston. There's enough exposure here in Los Angeles to favor his rapid rise to fame. Now that he has strengths, all he needs is a good platform to show those strengths. A place like Houston, if he was offered a guaranteed contract before today, he might have gone. But now that he has LA to choose from, of course he chooses to stay in LA. Then, Murray's offer and behavior also made Zeng Zhen feel a little uncomfortable. Murray is a man who doesn't play by the rules and then likes to play it smart. Looking at a $4 million two-year contract is bigger than the Lakers, but it's actually only $1 million for the first year that's guaranteed, with a team option for the second year. So if he doesn't play well, he'll be cut at any time, and it's only really costing $1 million, which is a lot less than the Lakers, so he won't lose money any way he screws it up. On the contrary, the Lakers side was much more honest, and the first year was the same as the second. Disregard Houston. You go talk to Mitch and fight for the second-year team option to be a personal option. That way I'll sign the contract, and if necessary, I can make concessions on the guaranteed amount as well. Zeng Zhen said. Okay, I'll communicate. Schwartz returned. Zeng Zhen does not go to drag things out, since he chose to play in the Lakers. He also set his conditions. Most of the time, negotiation is a process of mutual conditioning and constant compromise on both sides. Zeng Zhen was very confident in his current strength. He's all about hanging tough, and given enough playing time and enough games played, he can raise his value a lot. Zeng Zhen wasn't sure where this Curry's limit was, but he felt the All-Star should have capped it as well. After all, the physical talent is there, and Curry should have a ceiling to be an All-Star, right? In his first year Zeng Zhen didn't care how much he was paid. He wanted more opportunities to earn his next big contract. With the Lakers, with Kobe injured and Smush Parker less trusted, this is his chance. Schwartz quickly laid out Zeng Zhen's conditions in front of Kupchak. Kupchak has actually been blown away by Zeng Zhen while watching the game. If it was a post-game look at Zeng Zhen's stats, he probably wouldn't have thought it was all that impressive. After all, the NBA is littered with players capable of slashing 30+. But watching the game, Kupchak knew the details. Zeng Zhen was blowing away those points in just over a quarter, and then he was scoring on a variety of long-range shots, and not just spot-ups, but the kind of shots that are in motion. This type of shot requires a lot of individual ability from the player. This means that Zeng Zhen has great individual ability. Although Kupchak cannot figure out why Zeng Zhen so strong in the previous team training seems mediocre, but happened in the NBA all kinds of strange things too much. What genius suddenly overnight decline? Who suddenly talent awakening outbreak and so on. Kobe's injury is driving Kupchak crazy. The Lakers' record is now 15-16, and they're not even halfway through their winning percentage, which is still far from the top 8 in the playoffs. If the Lakers are not able to make the playoffs again this season, I'm afraid that Kobe will have to mess with him again in the summer. Base, the owner, has made it clear that Kobe is the centerpiece of the Lakers, and Kupchak's head hurts just thinking about it. So if he makes the owner unhappy, he'll have to get the hell out of there. Zeng Zhen looked like a good immediate starter, and the team option was converted to an individual option, a condition that was a disguised boost to the guaranteed amount. After a little thought, Kupchak compromised. In Kupchak's opinion, it's the Lakers who need Zeng Zhen more now, not Zeng Zhen who needs the Lakers more. Zeng Zhen received a text message from Schwartz after getting off the plane that the negotiations were successful and the contract would be changed tomorrow. It also gave him extra relief. Going from a non-guaranteed player to a guaranteed player has made him feel more at home with the Lakers. The weather in Los Angeles in January is still a little cold, and as a seaside city, Zeng Zhen felt the biting sea breeze after getting off the airplane. Los Angeles is the entertainment capital of the United States, with a very high per capita income and a city where many wealthy people choose to live, with a wide variety of luxury cars parked in the airport parking lot. But Zeng Zhen's car is not a luxury car, an ordinary Chevrolet used sedan. Before today, Zeng Zhen is still always worried about when he will be laid off, when he will change another city to live. The car for him is just a means of transportation. He does not have the money or energy to study those things. Like the car, and unlike other NBA players, Zeng Zhen's home isn't in some rich villa area. Certainly not a slum. Zeng Zhen lives in a mostly middle-class apartment complex. This place is safe and secure and not too expensive. The total height of the apartment was 14 floors, and Zeng Zhen lived on the 5th floor. Zeng Zhen did not live by himself, but rented a room in someone else's home. After exiting the elevator, Zeng Zhen was using the key to open the door when a beautiful and familiar figure happened to run out from the stairway. This is Zeng Zhen's landlord, Zhao Shui. Zhao Shui is 25 years old this year, height of 1.75 meters, long legs pavilion, although it cannot say that the country is beautiful, but it is also the type of clear and elegant. Zhao Shui's long hair was like a waterfall, falling naturally over her shoulders as if each strand of hair was radiating luster. The demeanor is lithe and elegant, with a curvy figure, just the right amount of breasts and a slim waist, showing the competent softness of a working woman. Zhao Shui is a second-generation immigrant who has 2 younger sisters, one 18 and one 16, and originally her family was not exactly middle class, but they lived pretty well. But Zhao Shui's parents were killed in a shooting accident. Criminals with guns don't have any property, resulting in no compensation either. Zhao Shui's parents also left only a 4-bedroom apartment as an inheritance to the 3 sisters. The 2 younger sisters are still studying, as the eldest sister Zhao Shui also early shouldered the burden of life at home. Fortunately, Zhao Shui herself is also competitive. In the case of college dropout, she's still in a chain of hotels to become a hotel manager, responsible for the management of one of the hotels. Both of her younger sisters are also very competitive. The second Zhou Na got into UCLA, and the third Zhou Yu, who is in high school, has grades that look like she's headed for an Ivy League school as well. Even though Zhao Shui's income is not bad anymore, the 3 sisters still have a big burden living in the United States, and they can see the pressure increasing in the future. Especially with 2 younger sisters still in school, going to college in the US is really going to be the same as carrying a mortgage at home. Zeng Zhen also admired her. This landlord was capable and responsible. Sister Snow, you're off work so late too. Zeng Zhen came back when it was already 3 o'clock in the morning. This time the rest of the place is dark. This Zhao Shui dared to climb the stairs by herself. She has a lot of courage. Where's the late shift? You just got back too? Zhao Shui put on a smile as a matter of professional habit. When you work in the service industry, you always have to learn to smile. Zeng Zhen is an NBA player, and the 2 of them have mutual friends. Their good conversation and status make Zhao Shui feel comfortable with Zeng Zhen renting her home. It gave her no need to worry about security, and celebrities always cared more about their reputation than ordinary people. Of course, there is also a sizable $1,500 per month rent from Zeng Zhen in there as well, enough to help her share a lot of stress. The reason why Zeng Zhen stayed at someone else's home was also an expedient arrangement, when he was cut and came to Los Angeles on fire. Staying in a hotel day after day would be too expensive, and he didn't know how long he'd be able to stay, and it wouldn't be cost-effective to rent a long-term rental apartment. It just so happens that a friend knows Zhao Shui, so she's staying here for the time being. Yeah, playing a road game today. Just got back from Houston. Zeng Zhen said. I really envy your job. You can fly around. Us office workers just stay in one place every day. Zhao Shui said as she followed Zeng Zhen through the door. Taking over the burden of life too early has put a lot of pressure on Zhao Shui, who would like to travel around, but practical life just doesn't allow it. It's just a matter of going from this hotel to that one, and you have to worry about being laid off from time to time. So how can you have the heart to go? Zeng Zhen also said with a sigh. Before, as a stray player, Zeng Zhen went to the away game cannot have much heart to go out to play. He only has the game and training in mind. Every day is wrapped in a huge physical and mental stress, which is sometimes similar to Zhao Shui. After getting Kupchak's guaranteed contract assurance tonight, Zeng Zhen settled down a little bit inside. I'm going to eat some noodles. Do you want some? Zhao Shui put down her own small backpack and then said to Zeng Zhen, who had just sat on the sofa. Zhao Shui was older than Zeng Zhen, and she had always treated Zeng Zhen as her younger brother. Zhao Shui turned toward the kitchen. Zhao Shui had just gotten off work and was still wearing her OL outfit at this point. Unconsciously, Zeng Zhen's attention looked at Zhao Shui's buttocks. It's quite round and curvy. In ancient times it would have been the good kind to have. Really don't want it? What I made is delicious. Zhao Shui suddenly turned back to meet Zeng Zhen's gaze. No need to be so troublesome. As if Zeng Zhen felt as if he had been caught in the act, he hurriedly picked up his book bag and wended his way to his room. This guy. Zhao Shui shook her head helplessly, and the fact that Zeng Zhen didn't eat her cooking also made her a bit lost. Clang. Give the mission. Pursue Zhao Shui. Reach sibling love. Mission reward mystery card 1. Silly system. I'm not interested in sibling love. Besides, this has nothing to do with becoming a ball champion, right? Zeng Zhen said with displeasure. This system was a bit offline. It wasn't just about the field of basketball and wanted to interfere in his life. Ballon d'Or isn't just on the pitch. It's also off the pitch. There are ballers off the court. Chamberlain. Hearing this from the system, Zeng Zhen was speechless. It seemed that Zhang 20,000's nickname was also completely blown. Okay, it's just that I don't want to be like him. Zeng Zhen said decently. After saying this, Zeng Zhen also felt that he was being a little hypocritical. He did have a little crush on Zhao Shui. Zeng Zhen also admired her commitment and ability, but he just hadn't thought of falling in love with her yet. Oh, do you find that believable on its own? I don't want to take this mission. This quest is an automatic pickup. Do it or don't do it. There is a reward for doing it. Zeng Zhen ignored it and turned off the system. Lay down on the bed. Zeng Zhen fell into a deep sleep. It's a spring dream with Zhao Shui. Zeng Zhen smiles faintly. Explodes for 30 points to gain Zen Master's trust. Little Demon King Zeng Zhen's strong one-upmanship of Big Yao. You can't be left alone in the China Derby. Super God Zeng Zhen eclipses Yao Mai. It's okay if Kobe retires. There's still Zeng Zhen. Insider power. Zeng Zhen agrees to a guaranteed contract with the Lakers. After Zeng Zhen got up and went online, he saw that his performance last night had made the headlines of many media outlets. Especially in the domestic media, but also write a big book about last night's China Derby spectacle. The relevant professional forums in China also analyzed Zeng Zhen's match frame by frame. Most people still recognize Zeng Zhen's potential and strength, and think he has a chance to get a foothold in the NBA now. This one game has changed many people's minds about Zeng Zhen. Zeng Zhen also browsed the forum for a while, and soon he stopped browsing. Brother Zhen, come out for lunch. The voice of Zhao Na, the second sister of the Zhao family, rang out. Zeng Zhen doesn't stay here every day because he has to play away games. Zhao Na sometimes watched Zeng Zhen come back, and the next day they would all stop by and cook his meal together. Of course, the main thing is that Zeng Zhen himself treats people kindly, usually have something to do with them as to help. He and the three sisters of the relationship is very good. Okay, coming. Zeng Zhen turned off his computer and quickly walked out. Lunch is what Joanna made. Zhao Na was 18 years old. She was slightly shorter than her big sister Zhao Shui, probably just about 170. Overall she looked softer, but the huge in front of her body was particularly prominent. Zeng Zhen visually estimated her size to be around E. Zhao Na had the best body of the three sisters. With her sister busy with work, Zhao Na would take care of the housework at home and was very proficient in cooking those. Zhao Na made 3 dishes for lunch. Scrambled eggs with tomatoes, stir-fried beef with radish, and eggplant casserole, all of which sold quite well. The third sister, Zhao Yu, was at school for lunch and not at home. Brother Zhen, this morning I took a look at the domestic news. So many headlines praising you. You're awesome. Zhao Na said adoringly. Hey, last night's game was a good game. So there's more complimentary news. The media is like that. When they play well, they blow it up to the sky. And when they don't play well, they're scolded as a dog. Zeng Zhen modestly said. That's awesome too. Next time my sister and I want to go see you play live too. Zhao Na said. Of course, anytime. I have 3 family tickets here to watch the game at home. When Sister Shui and Jade have time, you guys come together, and then I'll take you to see Kobe and let him sign your jersey. Zeng Zhen said generously. Yay Kirby. Thank you Brother Zhen. You're really too nice. Zhao Na said happily. Unlike her big sister who doesn't watch basketball games, Zhou Na loves to watch basketball games, and growing up in Los Angeles, she idolized Kobe. At that time, when she learned that Zeng Zhen was playing for the Lakers, she was more than welcome to share a room with him. Zhou Na and Zeng Zhen were about the same age, and Zhao Shui could tell that Zhou Na somewhat liked Zeng Zhen. Zeng Zhen was tall and big and a star, so it wasn't surprising that her sister liked it. It just somehow made Zhao Shui a little uncomfortable. Less talking during dinner. Zhao Shui tapped her chopsticks, reminding Zhao Na of the rules. I know. Zhao Na stopped talking after whispering. Zhao Shui was so prestigious in her family that her two younger sisters hardly dared to disobey her.